Okay, this little how-to will show you how you proceed if you want to cut something off without using Dynamesh and, say, stump it. So in this case, I don't want this hand on my fragment, and I have multiple levels of subdivision which I'd like to keep just because I'd like to continue working, and it's really nice to have those. So what we need to do really is to build a new tool with a capped stump and then reproject the details. Okay, so really what we need to do is we need to duplicate this tool. So we'll keep the original around with all the details, and that'll be our detailed model. And then we'll take our duplicate and we'll go down to level 1, and we're going to hide the stump, or hide the hand, which is what we want to get rid of, and actually make sure our selection is clean. So I'll get rid of that bit and reverse my visibility, invert. And what we need to do probably is, I have one active layer that's in edit mode, so I'm going to bake all. It won't let me do it with the mesh partially hidden. So actually I'll just make a poly group from visible just to keep my selections. I have to show everything again. So I'll just hit bake all. It doesn't matter what level you're on, it will bake the layer into the model anyways. And now I can proceed like I want to, which is to delete hidden. And actually I'm going to delete higher and then delete hidden, because we don't need the higher level details with what we're going to do. And what we're going to do is actually cap this model. Right, so we have that little hand there, and we like to close holes. Let's hit delete hidden first. Okay, so that little error that came up said you have partially hidden mesh, you can't cap the hole. So now we can close the hole, and you can see it's done a nice job. And now we would like to take all our high-res details from the previous model and bring them back onto this. And first, we're going to proceed like we did before with kind of creasing these edges up here, right? Just so that we have a nice square stump. And so I'm just going to go in here, and I'm going to go to the crease menu right here, and I have level 4 visible, which is enough. That's what I creased the rest of the torso with. And now we will do a divide, and then we'll do a projection, right? As it is right now, our level 0 matches our subtools, or level 1 matches our subtool level 1, our target subtools level 1. So we need to introduce our first level of smoothing, and then pop that out to the level of the base mesh, right? So this is where we go to project all. Okay, so we'll project all to any kind of visible subtools. Okay, so you can see we have a distance and everything here, and you can actually do isolate, select, or hit solo mode to still project with the other mesh hidden. So I access that solo mode, just isolating the single subtool right here. You can get down here below the further down the shelf on the right hand side if you have the screen space. My small record size prevents me from getting it there. Okay, so we just projected it all. I'm going to increase my distance just to make sure that I'm getting everything. And that looks like it snapped into place, just like we would like to see. And let me just hit solo. And we're going to have a problem with the stump, because the stump is going to be projecting onto the hand, right? So you can see how it kind of went, rough up here. And the reason for that is it's not matching a mating surface, right? So it's going to try to project 1.1 unit distance and find a target, and the target it's finding is parts of the hand, and that's not really going to do for us. So we're going to go in and we're going to mask that so that it doesn't actually search for anything. Okay, so before we do our project all again, we're going to put a little mask on the top of the stump. Okay, so let's just get it with a poly group, and we just do a control drag, and we have it masked now. So now we should be able to do a project all and have it pop out. And unfortunately, I've only subdivided once. Let's clear our mask and subdivide again. And we're going to mask again. Fortunately, this is kind of the best way to do it. And then project all again. And you can see we popped out again. Just looking around quickly for artifacts to see if we see any. There's a little artifact happening in here, which is where we've kind of had some of our creases overlapping. Right, so I'm just going to smooth these out, and we'll see what happens when we go up another subdivision. There will generally be problem areas where we have overlaps like that. So really, let's just try this again. We will divide, and I'll mask this stump again. And we're going to project, and I predict that this is going to go a little bit crazy down here, just because it's going to find surfaces that are too far away. And it's not bad, but I think we can tighten it up a little bit by decreasing our projection distance. So I'll just undo really quickly. And when we're at the lowest subdivision level, we use 0.1 as our projection distance, our scan distance, which is 0.1 unit from the surface to a target mesh. And when you're at low subdivision, you probably need extra distance, but as you get tighter and tighter, as you go higher and higher, this can become a fraction of what it started at. So 0.2 will probably succeed in finding most of the mesh, and it does. And you can see it goes a long way to reducing the artifacts in here. But at the same time, while I say that, it doesn't scan far enough to get this successfully, right? So we need a little bit more than 0.2 in order to project this out to its matching surface. So we'll go 0.05. I've been saying 0.2. I've been meaning 0.02. So now we're at 0.05, and we'll just project again. And you can see we get all of this time. And we'll have slightly bigger artifacts in here, which we can smooth out or just leave. Okay, and our stump is doing nicely. Clear my mask, subdivide again, and I think you can see a pattern developing, hopefully. Mask the stump and hide. I'm going to decrease this to 0.02 now, and we should be okay to project this. And just a quick scan around to see that we've done okay, and it looks okay. So we'll do one last little bit of an artifact right there, but I'm going to leave it. Okay, one last subdivision. Clear the mask, divide, mask the stump, and project. And we're looking pretty good now. Okay, and since our surfaces are matching pretty well, I'm going to see if I can just fix this with a projection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask this, then I'll invert my mask, and I'll increase my projection distance to something big and see if it pops out. And it does, okay? But I didn't put anything else in jeopardy because it was all masked. So that, let me just make sure that all this is projected. It is. Okay, it just looks a little unfinished down there. So that is pretty much a fairly simple workflow for projecting your details between meshes. So I'll just grab the original and I'll just transpose them off to the right. And I'll turn my other one on. And I'll leave solo mode. And so you can see that we have pretty much identical meshes. Just one has been stumped, but retains its subdivision history by the process that I just showed, using kind of sequential reprojects to get the details across, but ignoring kind of the details out here that we wanted to eliminate. Okay, that's a short how-to on reprojection. Thanks.